and welcome to the Paratus Digital Health Accelerator Showcase. I am Stephen Collins. I'm the CEO of Matter, a healthcare technology incubator and innovation hub on a mission to accelerate the pace of change of healthcare, with a core belief that collaboration between entrepreneurs and industry leaders is the best way to develop healthcare solutions. We developed Paratus, which means ready for anything, in partnership with BARDA, the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, which is the arm of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services responsible for developing technologies that will help the United States be better prepared for large-scale public health emergencies. Matter has incubated more than 1,000 startups since we opened in 2015, companies that range from very early to growth stage, and we have a suite of services to help at every stage of development. Our member companies have raised more than $5 billion to fuel their growth. We also work with large organizations, such as health systems, life sciences companies, payers, to help them innovate more effectively. In addition to providing insights and training, we run accelerators on behalf of large companies that help them build the right collaborations with the right entrepreneurs. Today's showcase is a milestone moment. It marks the culmination of not just one, but two cohorts of innovative startups that have dedicated 10 weeks to advancing digital health solutions that will enhance our nation's preparedness for public health emergencies. Over the past few years, we've all seen just how critical it is to have digital tools ready when crises strike, whether it's rapid diagnostics, real-time data sharing, or decision support tools that guide health systems under pressure. Digital health has become essential to keeping communities safe and has enormous potential to do even more as technology advances very rapidly. The focus of Paratus is on solutions that can support preparedness and response to public health emergencies due to chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats, pandemic influenza, and emerging infectious diseases. These are challenges that demand innovation and foresight and collaboration. And by supporting startups addressing these challenges, we are not just advancing entrepreneurship, we are directly investing in the health security of our nation and the resilience of our healthcare systems. So what does the program actually look like in action? Over the course of 10 weeks, the entrepreneurs immersed themselves in a comprehensive accelerator experience. They had access to resources and a robust curriculum delivered by subject matter experts. They were matched with mentors who provided hands-on, one-on-one guidance, helping them navigate challenges unique to healthcare innovation. And they gained entry into a powerful network of peers, stakeholders, and potential partners, giving them a platform to build connections that will extend far beyond this program. The two cohorts supported 10 startups, pioneering advancements in rapid patient-side diagnostics, clinical trial recruitment and retention, real-time biologic mutation testing, computer vision applications in healthcare, mobile-based disease monitoring, and more. Taken together, these companies represent a pipeline of solutions that can transform how we prepare for and respond to the next health emergency. Their work reminds us that readiness isn't abstract. It's about real technologies deployed when and where it matters most. As I mentioned up front, our core thesis of innovation revolves around collaboration, and Paratus is very much a collaborative endeavor. I want to first acknowledge and thank our partner BARDA for making this program possible and for your continued commitment to harnessing emerging technologies to improve our ability to respond to crises. I want to thank all our mentors and workshop faculty whose expertise has been invaluable. You push these entrepreneurs to think bigger, anticipate challenges, and sharpen their solutions. And most of all, thanks and congratulations to all the entrepreneurs who committed to these programs. You leaned into the hard questions, embraced feedback, and made enormous strides. Today is your opportunity to share those efforts and your potential solutions with this broader community. As we begin the showcase and hear from the innovators, I encourage everyone listening to see today not just as a series of startup pitches, but as a glimpse into the future of public health preparedness. These companies are tackling problems that matter to all of us, and their success will shape how ready we are for the challenges of tomorrow. Before we hear from the entrepreneurs, I'd like to welcome Dr. Mary Larkin, program manager from the BARDA Accelerator Network. Mary is a scientist, an entrepreneur, and most importantly, our partner in all things Paratus. And she will say a few words before we hear from the startups. Mary?
Thank you so much, Stephen, and good morning or good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are on the time zone divide. As Stephen mentioned, I'm the program manager for the BARDA Accelerator Network, and draw from my experience as a researcher and an entrepreneur to continually shape and grow this program so that we can maximally support you, the early stage innovators that are helping us to achieve our mission goals. I would like to immediately recognize the amazing team on the BARDA side behind this effort, starting with my band co-manager, Manbir Singh, Stephanie Sturm, who keeps very busy leading the day-to-day project management of this partnership with Matter, and Connor Hutcherson, who supports this hub with his subject matter expertise. Also, our fearless leader and boss, Asim Subedi, and Connie Song, who makes all things contracting happen, without which we have no partnerships. Steph is running the slide deck. Thank you so much, Steph. So Stephen mentioned we're within HHS. I thought I'd kind of walk you through that to help you understand where BARDA is, and that might help you a little more with your understanding of kind of our mission and who we serve. So we are part of ASPR, the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response, which is an operating division within HHS. So some of these other ones here in this wheel have a little more name recognition. And ASPR's mission is to prepare for, respond to, and recover from public health emergencies and disasters. And BARDA specifically supports that mission with medical countermeasure readiness. So thank you, Steph. So we want to make sure that we are prepared with medical countermeasures. And what does that term really mean? It means the diagnostics, vaccines, and other prophylactics and therapeutics, as well as the manufacturing capabilities to make all of these products to counter threats from chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear agents, pandemic influenza, and emerging infectious diseases. BARDA does not have its own laboratories or staff research scientists, so we rely on partnerships with companies like you to meet our mission goals. So since our mission is all about having these life-saving products ready to deploy, we fund product development rather than basic research. One of the primary ways we measure our success as an organization is by tracking FDA approvals. We can get the technology to that critical juncture, then they are ready for the market or for the government to procure them for the Strategic National Stockpile, which is a reserve of ready to deploy medical countermeasures in the case of a public health emergency. We recognize that if we want to have these late-stage technologies that are ready for FDA approval and to be made into available products, we need a robust early-stage pipeline. And the BARDA Accelerator Network is one of a handful of programs that supports early-stage innovators in the de-risking of their technologies, which is really essential for ensuring that they're not in an endless loop of dependence on government funding, or worse, run out of money, but can attract the private capital that they need to really help them scale and get their product to market. In the interest of time, I won't go through each program in detail, but please visit our medicalcountermeasures.gov site to learn more. And of course, you can reach out to the BARDA team or to the Matter team, and we can direct you to the right people. So a little bit more about the BARDA Accelerator Network that brought BARDA and Matter together. So the Paratus Hub, as Stephen mentioned, is focused on the integration of digital solutions to accelerate the development and implementation of medical countermeasures. So that's one of the 5 hubs. We have the Vital Hub that's focused on therapeutics and vaccines, the iCreate Hub, which is focused on diagnostics and medical devices, the Enabling Technologies or Vanguard Hub, and then our last hub in the wheel there is our Spark Hub for innovations in pediatrics. So that one actually supports all the technology verticals, but it's focused on making sure that we have medical countermeasures for one of our most vulnerable populations, children. The capabilities for the 5 hubs are very similar with the accelerator services, the opportunities for non-dilutive funding. And then the hubs also maintain a state of rapid response readiness. So in the case of a public health emergency, if we needed to call on this network to scale up acceleration, scale up non-dilutive funding opportunities, they would be poised for that. And this program continues to grow, and specifically in the area of available non-dilutive funding, yay, with a bunch of additional opportunities beyond the $200,000 in annual funding as well, with several initiatives launching with $1 million and even one that's up to 7.5 million. So we're no longer, just the very early stage proof of concept. We're launching opportunities that go beyond that. And as a band portfolio company, you are plugged in to hear about all of those opportunities as they launch. We are extraordinarily excited about the successes of the first year of this partnership between BARDA and Matter, and can't wait to hear from you, the portfolio companies, the hearts of this hub, as you pitch your health security solutions. And with that, I'll pass it over to Katie Costco, Partnerships Manager at Matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you to the audience, everybody who is joining us both virtually and in person at Matter. I'm Katie Costco. I'm the Partnerships Manager with Matter, and I will be moderating today's showcase, and will do my best to keep everybody on time. Each startup will have 6 minutes to present today. So we will hear from the first 3 startups, take a short 15-minute break until about 12:20-ish, and then we will hear from the remaining 4 startups. Afterwards, we hope you will join us for the networking session. And we will also ask that you save your questions for the networking session, as we will not be taking Q&A during the pitches. So with that, I would like to introduce our first presenter, Dong-Hoon Lee, co-CEO of Omphalos.
Hello, everyone. I am Hoon, co-CEO of Omphalos Life Sciences. We're building an antimicrobial response modeling platform to outpace AMR with programmable virtual cell technology. Bacteria evolve defenses against antibiotics, making infections harder, sometimes impossible to cure. It causes over 1 million deaths each year and tens of billions of dollars in cost. It also worsens pandemics and biothreats, directly undermining national preparedness. The challenge for new therapeutic countermeasures here is timing. Resistance emerges in months, while new antibiotics take more than a decade to develop. To address this, we need to design therapies upfront that are less likely to be blocked by resistance. Unfortunately, antibiotic R&D is broken. It fails 90% of the time, costs over $1 billion, and takes more than 10 years like any other drugs. But also, even successful drugs lose value quickly because of post-market resistance and competition with generics and so on. This explains why drug developers are leaving. What if drug developers had computational pathogen models to design drugs systematically with resistance risks already accounted for? They could virtually run genetic and drug screening that can cut $300 to $500 million in cost, save 2 to 4 years, and importantly, reduce the risk of resistance, so drugs last longer in the market, generating an additional 100 to 200 million in revenue. The challenge is that the current modeling technologies don't scale. The first generation mechanistic models built with traditional software engineering approaches are often too narrow in scope and too slow to build. The second generation AI approaches, including LLM, can generate answers without knowing all the details, but they're very data hungry, lack biological insight, and struggle with new conditions not ideal for modeling a dynamic system like a cell. At Omphalos, we built a scalable approach called programmable virtual cell technology, a hybrid of mechanistic and data training. We create smarter and more practical models with it, using L++, the first programming language for biology. And with this technology, we're building virtual E. coli, a model that predicts growth, adaptation, and its responses to genetic and chemical perturbations. Currently, it dynamically simulates gene expression, metabolism, cell division, and so forth, and can be flexibly trained with limited and sparse data. And this framework extends easily to other pathogens too. Here's our internal validation against published benchmarks. This example shows that when we simulated knockdowns of an essential gene Thi-A in virtual E. coli, growth was arrested under significant repression, and the curves closely match the experimental data from the literature. In short, our virtual cell reproduces real biological behavior, and we are now integrating antibiotics tests. Our goal at the end of the day is to build a comprehensive antimicrobial response modeling platform, starting with virtual pathogens and ultimately extending it to virtual humans for infection in context simulation. Our target customers are AMR drug developers. We'll give them access through an OpenAI style model, a chat interface, and an API. Here's a rough sketch of how it would work for a drug developer trying to identify novel therapeutic targets in a pathogen. The developer uploads strain data, all handled securely, and platform creates, the virtual pathogen, runs a genetic screen, tests resistance scenarios, identifying durable targets. This will lead to future-proof drugs that last longer and deliver higher ROI than now. For the next few quarters, our focus is clear: finalize the virtual E. coli model, secure academic and biotech partners for early validation, while developing prototypes of high-priority pathogen models. And next year, we'll raise our round and bring the MVP with a chat-based interface into pilot studies. And importantly, this is a preclinical R&D tool that is not directly regulated by the FDA. Our platform is defensible. It is built on 5 years of R&D into L++, our proprietary programming language for biology, and a full software stack, including L++ compiler, simulation engine, and training modules, all kept as trade secret. And this work is led by a proven team. Daehwan and I were both trained at Johns Hopkins, then worked together as faculty at UT Southwestern. Now we're both full-time at Omphalos. Daehwan, with over 69,000 citations, is the lead architect of L++ and drives the scientific vision. I co-developed L++ with him. Now I lead execution, developing products, building partnerships, and running operations. So, Omphalos is building the first antimicrobial response modeling platform with programmable virtual cell technology. It is a digital health infrastructure that future-proofs drug development from national security to pharma ROI. We also aim to put this in the hands of clinicians and EHR systems to guide care directly in the future. Please join us in redefining how we combat AMR. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dong-Hoon.
No problem.
Next up, we have Luke Gislane, CEO of MyHealth.
Hi, this is Luke Gislane, co-founder, CEO of MyHealth, and we're developing a clinical AI agent that is a concussion recovery coach, along with a brain health vital sign using eye movements on mobile device. We've had a great experience in the Matter Paratus Digital Health Accelerator, working on go-to-market and business model. So real special thanks to Gina Konstantinopoulos and the entire Matter team. Yeah, that's great. We're aligned with the BARDA mission to develop countermeasures for healthcare emergencies by providing triage and monitoring on site when there is an event that might result in a lot of concussions at once, and there's very limited access to clinical care. This is actually adjacent to the use case here of Marie's concussion, where once again, there's limited access to clinical care and guidance on return to activity, work, study, play, as well as tracking symptoms and clear instructions. There's a high risk, relatively high risk of a severe outcome in multiple paths here, where the recovery can take months to years. There's a lot of cases like this, between 1 and 2 million in the US every year in youth sports. So what's the patient journey look like? For the most part, if you have a concussion on the field, you do nothing. You return to play and may have to deal with follow-on effects, a second concussion down the road. If you go for a sideline check, you might go for an outpatient visit or an ER visit, and then you receive discharge instructions, at which point you're on your own for the rest of the journey. 20 to 30% of cases result in months to years rather than weeks of recovery. So our solution, the Concussion Recovery Coach, will be accessible if you are a plan member on the website. You click concussion care, and then you go through intake, eligibility, onboarding, and baseline. Now you're introduced to your recovery coach, a clinical AI agent accessible by web application, text, voice, and it knows your health record. There's also a connection to telehealth, so you can connect with a human clinician. The recovery coach is evidence-based, structured recovery with very high quality, accuracy, safety. Greater than 90% of patient interactions do not require human escalation. The guidance includes daily check-ins, event-driven to get you to the next milestone, and available on demand. We're adding recovery tracking with a brain health vital sign that is a game. It's a blue dot game using eye movements on mobile device. In terms of competition, we differentiate by providing the continuous personalized approach rather than in-person episodic care with someone maybe you don't know so well. And on the y-axis, it's subjective measures, patient reported versus objective recovery tracking with eye movements in the brain health vital sign. In terms of our go-to-market, we're targeting self-insured employers. A small self-insured employer for an initial pilot, ideally a paid pilot, letter of intent in terms of a contract, and we want to validate this approach. We're actually going next week to the Cheryl Morgan conference, where they are benefit consultants, and they have a deep network of self-insured employers for us to approach. After that, we want to, of course, increase the size of the employer from maybe a few hundred to larger, work with consultants and brokers and aggregators, and then ultimately go into health plans and maybe work with the stop loss insurance. In terms of our milestones and partnerships, we were founded a couple of years ago in June of 23. We licensed from NASA their technology to use eye movements for concussion about a year ago. Then we developed, based on that, the Blue Dot game in 2 sprints with a group of software engineers, a couple of really strong developers, one from Stanford, one from Waterloo. We added metrics so we can make measurements and track them over time. We entered the Paratus Accelerator in July, and now we're designing in detail the Concussion Recovery Coach to get us to a letter of intent contract from self-insured employer for a paid pilot. That will lead us to a seed round. Along the way, we have a couple of partnerships, one with Boston University for more broadly exploring the use case in neurodegenerative disease. And then with University of Birmingham in the UK, the MTBI Predict study is for clinical validation against the gold standard using eye movements and concussion. In terms of our team, myself, I have one exit in life science tools. I'm by nature a team builder, PhD in applied physics, and very personal focus on brain health for early detection of neurodegenerative disease. Carrie is a physiologist, deep expertise in clinical operations and clinical care. Karim is a physician scientist, expertise in clinical neuroscience, and he's a venture investor. Sammy is a serial entrepreneur with experience in fundraising, and Shrey is working on neurodegenerative disease diagnostics as well as digital health innovation. Takeaways. So our My Health Recovery Coach is a clinical AI agent, high trust, no judgments, access to telehealth clinical care, brain health vital sign for recovery tracking. Our ask is please reach out if this is of interest to you. We want to proceed and prove this out with a pilot. Thank you very much. The LinkedIn QR code is here, as well as a QR code for the Blue Dot game.
Thank you so much, Luke. Next up, we have Ashwin Lokapelli, co-founder and CEO of Geotech.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashwin Lokapalli, CEO and co-founder of Geotech. I'm here to share how Geotech is revolutionizing drug discovery at atomic scale to address one of healthcare's most pressing challenges. But first, let me paint a picture of the challenges we all face. Every time a new viral threat emerges, whether it's COVID-19, influenza, or the next pandemic, we encounter the same major technical challenges and bottlenecks. Viral diversity creating constantly moving targets, leading to rapid drug resistance, complex host immune responses, and prohibitive time and cost that leave us perpetually fighting yesterday's war. This is more than a scientific challenge. It's a national security crisis, a patient care crisis, and above all, a $300 billion untapped market opportunity demanding revolutionary solutions. But what if we could see the enemy at work? That is, literally watch how viruses assemble and function at atomic scale. This is exactly what we do at Geotech. We don't just model individual molecules, we simulate complete virus particles as they self-assemble in real time. Think of it as a molecular microscope that can watch the entire virus life cycle unfold, revealing the secrets of these pathogens actually work. Our atomic scale simulations capture dynamics rather than static motions, the breathing motions of viral proteins, and the precise molecular choreography that drives viral self-assembly. Let me show you specifically how this looks like in action. Here's our competitive edge in practice. While others analyze single molecule in isolation, we simulate entire viral protein assemblies. We identify binding spots or blind spots through atomic scale simulations that reveal cryptic binding sites invisible to conventional methods. Our free energy calculations don't just predict if a drug will bind, they also predict exactly how it will bind, with what affinity, and what conformational changes it will trigger. This level of precision transforms druggable or undruggable targets into accessible therapeutic opportunities. This translates directly into more efficient drug discovery. When we simulate viral protein-drug interactions at atomic scale, as shown here, we can predict not just binding, but the entire pharmacological profile. This means we can optimize lead compounds computationally, even before synthesizing them, dramatically reducing time for target identification to pre-IND submission. So one may ask, how do we stack up with our competitors in terms of technology? So compared to our competitors, where Schrödinger, Bischoff, Atomwise, or in silico medicine focus on single molecules, we at Geotech simulate complete viral systems. We are the only platform offering AI-enabled atomic resolution protein-protein interaction mapping, accelerated drug discovery workflows, and self-assembly analysis, capabilities essential for tackling complex viral targets that others simply can't address. This isn't just a technical advantage, but it's a fundamental paradigm shift that creates a defensible moat around our technology. And here's how we plan to bring this to the market. Our roadmap is designed for rapid growth and impact. By the end of this year, we plan to complete our ML models for market entry and secure strategic partnerships. That is at least 2 LOIs for pilot programs, which we are already in discussions or conversations. By the end of next year, we plan to have at least 5 discovery pipeline pilots running and generate revenue from customers through partnerships, while also raising a $2 million fund to accelerate our growth. Our go-to-market strategy targets companies that are having similar problems in viral drug discovery. So our customers are basically industry leaders in biotech and pharma, such as Pfizer, Merck, BMS, and others, who are struggling with same viral therapeutic challenges. Our business model offers 2 pathways. That is either a value-based in-house drug discovery services leading to pre-IND submissions. And the second one is repurposing programs that unlock the value of existing drugs through our unique simulation platform. So behind this technology is a world-class team. Me and my co-founder bring in complementary expertise in computational biology and machine learning. I have a PhD in molecular biology and computational biology, and my co-founder has a background in AI and machine learning, and we both have been working in this space for a while. And we are backed by an expert team of advisors, former pharma executives such as Arthur and Petros, and leading academic researchers like Michael and Jody here. And this team combines deep scientific knowledge with practical industry experience. Finally, in conclusion, Geotech represents more than just a better technology. We are offering a new paradigm, how we prepare for and respond to viral threats. Viruses won't wait, neither should we. So join us to transform how we prevent, treat, and ultimately outsmart viruses. Thank you so much. I would welcome any questions, potential collaborations, and funding opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. And so now we will take a short break before we wrap up the remaining presentations. So, hi, everybody. And we will now come back together for the second half of presentations. So with that, I am very excited to welcome our next presenter, Joy Pardrak, who is the CEO of Ad Astra Diagnostics.
So, what if your life or the life of a loved one depended on fast lab results? Minutes matter. Each 60-minute delay in treating septic shock increases the likelihood of dying by 8%. That's why Ad Astra Diagnostics developed the QScout AI-driven diagnostic platform for patient-side results in 2 minutes, instead of waiting 60 minutes for stat results in the emergency department here or a day or two from your doctor's office. We transform care by eliminating the inefficiency and wait for lab results from the central lab like this. And LabCorp invested because we move testing to where the patient and provider are so they can make fast health decisions. We save time, 2-minute results. QScout at an urgent care or a doc's office can turn a $900+ bill into $50 or less. So we save money, and we already talked about how we save lives with the sepsis example. So this is a video that shows how we do it. The QScout Lab is a rugged mobile lab in a box that can do anything a microscope can. And you see it running here on battery power with a finger stick. It also uses venous blood, but it just takes a drop of blood into a test cartridge. And our superpower is making the complicated really simple. So all you have to do is scan the patient ID or work order number, insert your test, hit the green button. You see the test has already started running there. It's going to take about 2 minutes until you get results. The results will be a full, complete blood count, and those will integrate with electronic health records. So now you've seen our elevator pitch. We give you fast, easy results whenever, wherever you need them, even if that's the elevator. So with our test, there's no wait, no worry. It's decentralized testing. It doesn't require any lab training because it's so easy to operate. It's rugged, and it gives you lab quality results at a really low cost. So the first test we're bringing to market is QScout CBC. The complete blood count, or CBC, is the most commonly ordered test. It's the first line of triage, a $5 billion market. And in addition to QScout CBC, we'll actually embed a sepsis risk score, sepsis score, in the CBC. Sepsis is the largest global killer. It's the most expensive inpatient condition, and it adds more than $1 billion market opportunity to our opportunity. So we don't sacrifice quality to give these real-time results. Now, you don't have to read these charts. If you just look at them, you see they look alike. And that's the point, because the chart on the left is the number 1 and number 2 player in the market, and the chart on the right replaces QScout on the y-axis with one of those. This is from one of our FDA clearance trials. So we've already cleared 2/3 of the measures in the CBC. And I call this our anti-Theranos chart because it shows that we've been FDA cleared to provide central lab results. We just do it patient side. Our business model is razor blades. So we sell the inexpensive lab in a box, and at scale, we'll sell our tests to compete with central lab pricing. So for about $2.50, and that leaves us more than a 75% margin. This instrument is a platform, so we can develop additional tests that run on the same instrument. Now, Q-Scout is exactly what we need to address public health emergencies. So we are really grateful to BARDA for a contract valued at up to $12.6 million that funds about 60% of the costs for us to get FDA clearance on both Q-Scout CBC and our sepsis score. And we're also very grateful to BARDA and the Accelerator Network and Matter. I have to say this has been the best accelerator program that we've been a part of. So grateful for that. For investors, we've already de-risked this investment because we make and sell a similar point of cow test for livestock through a sister company. 2/3 of the measures in our CBC have already been cleared by the FDA. We use an existing reimbursement code, and we've shown that we can be profitable with really high margins. So the CBC is an accepted test. It's the most commonly ordered, and diagnostic companies have told us they want it because it allows them to sell more of their on-site tests if a CBC could be done on-site. So this is platform technology. We do expect multiple exits. And if we were to take the technology to market ourselves, you see that at just under 9% of the market, it becomes an $800 million a year business. Our conversations with strategics, they've told us they prefer to acquire and launch this technology when it's FDA cleared. So we are raising $10 million to get to our first exit at the end of 2026. 2025 is about our trials. 2026, we get FDA clearance in that first exit. Comparable companies have shown values in the $600 million range. And then because this is platform, we would continue to develop other tests on the platform. So we have a team that can do this because we've worked together honing this technology for more than 10 years now, first through a sister company that does livestock testing. We've been there and we've done that at big companies, and we're here because we really want to make a difference. I'm a driven serial entrepreneur, and we've got great experience in the boardroom as well with the investors that you see shown here. So with an exit in 26 and all of the de-risking that we've done, there's no wait and no worry for investors either. For angels, we have a note open that will be closing soon because we've gotten a term sheet for a round of investment that will take us to exit. It takes about $5 million to get there, but because of the platform nature of the technology, we are raising 10. Glad to have that term sheet that can help us get the first 2 products on the platform cleared and sold. So I'll have my video working by the networking time. So I hope that you will see me there, call me, email me. I'd love to talk more about how, in the words of one of our health system collaborators, we deliver on the holy grail of testing. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Joy. Next up, we have Abbas Abbasi, CEO of Shadari.
So hi, my name is Abbas. I am CEO of Shadari. I'm here to present to you our AI for vaccine and vaccine characterization. So it's a digital technology that assesses viruses and their variants. So let's start with a headline. So this headline was very common during the COVID crisis. Every time there was a new variant, it was a variant of concern because we didn't know if the vaccines would work. So it took governments, depending on the variant, it took them between 3 months to 6 months just to know that information. And this is actually not just a COVID-specific problem. It's a very specific problem for every vaccine and virus, and every time there's a new variant. And so at Shadari, we asked ourselves if there was a better way to actually give a faster response using AI. And so just to go back to the problem, the reason why we have variation is because of mutation. Mutation happens all the time. And whenever there is a mutation, it challenges the existing vaccines. Although governments keep vaccine banks to cover as much as possible the variation, but they know they can't, so they have to actually run tests. So for influenza, for example, every flu season, the CDC runs around 2,000 tests to assess the existing vaccine against the variants that were isolated around the world. And the issue is those tests are prone to errors, and they take a lot of time to actually yield a result. So, and this problem is actually not just vaccine and virus specific. It's actually true also for cancer, because cancer is driven by mutation and the therapeutics that are used against them, or the other pathogens. So our solution, we developed a software that actually allows you to instantaneously assess the capability that you have. It's 90% plus accurate. It can analyze more than 100 variants at the same time. It clusters viruses per family, so you can actually see whether a new virus belongs to a previous family that you have identified, or it is actually a new family. You can detect, based on that, emerging variants. And also it goes further by identifying the viral mutations that are contributing to actually gain of efficacy or loss of efficacy, so that you can redesign your vaccines if need be. Right now, our solution is actually more accurate than the gold standard. So the gold standard is really just lab tests. It's faster. Like I said, in the case of COVID, it took months to give an answer. In ours, is really almost instantaneous. And it's also at a fraction of the cost. So like I said, for the flu vaccine, the CDC runs around 2,000 tests. It costed around, our estimate is around $20 million to do that. We can do exactly the same test for a fraction of the cost tomorrow. In terms of competition, you can focus on that gray area, which is us and our biggest competitor. And they just got acquired for $700 million by BioNTech, which is the pharma company from Germany that provided the Pfizer mRNA COVID vaccine. So we are still faster than them, because they need the 3D crystallography of the virus to actually do the prediction. They cannot build an antigenic map with the genetic sequence of the virus. And our AI is explainable. Theirs is a black box. So there are a couple of other competitors in the market, but most of them, as you can see, are really not able to provide an instantaneous answer, and they are at an R&D level. And their AI is not actually explainable, but it is their future goal for some of them to be able to provide it. So really, from a market perspective, we are a leader here. Our business model, obviously, I'm sure you have understood this. So it's really either addressing the market for public health institutions like the CDC, the WHO, or the US Agriculture Department when it comes to animal viruses and vaccines, human and animal pharmaceutical companies, and testing labs. So it could be labs like Thermo Fisher and whatnot that actually are responsible for running, because we are the digital version of that lab, basically. The next improvement on it. From a timeline perspective, by the end of this year, we hope to secure grants for our vaccine pilots. By early next year, winter, we hope to be able to address some of the issues, some of the markets, especially for antibody drugs and new vaccine pilots. By spring, we hope to complete our vaccine pilots, and obviously go on to the antibody drugs market, which is in addition to the vaccine market, which is also used as a therapeutic neutralization capability in case of an outbreak. So the team is myself. I have an applied mathematics background. I was a researcher in pharmaceutical companies. We have also who leads our software development team, and Mohammed, who's our data science lead, who works with me to develop the models. We are interested to connect with public health institutions, pharmaceutical companies, and testing labs like those listed here or others. If you know them, please reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. So just a quick one last thing. As I was saying, it's not just about viruses, it's also about cancer. And one of the reasons is, like Yale published it, immunotherapy doesn't work for anyone. And the reason it doesn't work for anyone is because some of the mutation escape treatment in case of cancer. So you all heard the stories of somebody being put on a treatment and the treatment not working and they have to restart. But if your window of treatment is 2 years, you don't want to lose 6 months to figure out if the drug is working for you. And this is something that we can address with the same technology. So their cancer antibody drugs also are challenged by mutation And I'll just leave you with that sentence. So imagine if you could sequence a patient's cancer antigens and know before starting a treatment whether it would work for them. This is really the next market that we are looking to address beyond viral outbreaks. You can reach me on this information here, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you at the network session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abbas. Next up, we have Elizabeth Tikoyan, founder and CEO of HELP.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Tikoyan. I'm the founder and CEO of HELP. Currently, $19 billion is being spent just to find patients, and we're still falling short. Over 85% of trials are delayed due to their inability to find enough patients. 30% fail to enroll a single patient, and every day a trial is delayed, it costs between $600,000 to $8 million per day. And the reality is, with no patients, there's no trials. And with no trials, there's no cures. So where is the disconnect? I spent over a decade as a pediatric patient with a debilitating, incurable condition. I was paralyzed on my right side. I used walking aids, had a severe speech impediment, dropped out of college 3 times. I saw over 50 specialists, desperate for answers. Yet I didn't learn about clinical trials from any of them. It wasn't until my first day interning at the NIH that I saw flyers covering the walls searching for patients that were just like me. The reality is, patients are not being reached where they are. And there really has never been a true bridge between patient populations and clinical trials. And HELP is the first company building that bridge. We're a platform that flips the traditional model. HELP is like Airbnb, but instead of matching travelers to homes, we match patients to communities just like them and to clinical trials that fit their exact needs. So we work a double-sided marketplace. On the patient side, anyone diagnosed with a health condition from rare or chronic conditions can create a profile. From there, our technology instantly matches them to a community of peers with similar experiences. They can join forums, share their stories, and access resources designed specifically for their needs. As our patient network grew, pharma and research groups were wanting to reach out to us to partner with us, and we now help them. The few things we do for pharma and our research partners is we help them match their trials to patients. We simplify complicated trial language. You can talk to the chatbot with our platform. So when you're matched with a trial, you can then have this simplified for your sake. And we help fill your, excuse me, I don't know why this went to the, and what we do is we also give our partners the ability to run surveys, polls, and forums so they can engage directly with patients and see insights by condition, age, and location. So you can ask, what vaccine did you take? And you can see how different patient groups are answering that question, how different age groups are answering that question, and you can compare patient populations between region. So you can see how Qatari patients are answering versus US patients are answering, and so on and so forth. The ways that we use in times of national health disasters, the way that we use AI is we match patients to trials using over 50 real-world health factors. We simplify language so patients actually understand what they're getting themselves into, and we crowdsource insights in real time so data moves as fast as the crisis does. What we're really proud of is our numbers. We've reached the hardest group in health tech, which is patients aged 18 to 35 years old, who make up 75% of our user base, and 40% of our users have a rare disease. So when the government or partners need to reach patients, or when critical data is required, we can mobilize instantly. Our network is built to deploy, connecting patients, delivering real-time insights, and powering countermeasures that protect communities when they need it most. And because we don't require EHR integrations, HELP can scale seamlessly across systems, across hospitals, and across nations. So it's very easy for us to scale because we're a third-party partner for all of the groups we work with. The way that we monetize is through enterprise contracts. We monetize patient data, we monetize patients' recruitment, sponsorships from drugs and research companies, and we have real-world data licensing. So When we've done the numbers with 474 contracts, we're projected to 200 million in revenue within 5 years. And the top way that we're generating revenue is through phase 2 and phase 3 studies. These studies spend on average for a phase 2 trial, you're looking for 50 to 150 patients, and those contracts are valued at 400,000. And when we get to phase 3 studies, those contracts are valued at $1 million, and they're looking for 150 to thousands of patients. It's a $19 billion market where over 80% of trials to this day are delayed because they cannot find enough patients. And there is one group that has not been reached before, and that is young patients with chronic and rare diseases. It's a $300 million market that has never been touched, and we're the first one creating that platform, and we're just about ready to scale it. Invention of the Year, we've been supported by Techstars by JP Morgan, New York City Economic Development Council, Chloe Capital, Velocity Texas, Methodist Healthcare, Invest Qatar. Our team has led over 500 million in acquisitions, built the top pregnancy app in the UK, developed platforms for Harvard and Duke Med, and I bring my lived experience as a patient, which is our company's North Star. And mind you, we did all of this without ever raising institutional funding. I am still 100% equity stakeholder of this entire company. So what I have moving forward is we have 2 asks. We want to prove out the value of our data and patient clinical trial matchmaking tool. So if you want to join us and partner with us in creating our pilot, we'd love to work with you. And in addition, what we're doing, we're also raising capital, where our goal is to raise 2 million seed round. And our goal with this funding is to continue growing our patient user base and to close major clinical trial contracts. We're just at the verge of being revenue generating. So if you're ready to change the future of clinical research and help save lives when national disasters strike, let's talk. Because there's no reason we should spend $19 billion a year and still delay over 85% of trials. And the country does not have a go-to resource to find patients and real-world data when we need it most. We're fixing the problem at its root. We'd love for you to join us. Thank you. And this is the way that you can contact me.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And for our final presentation, we have Sean Freitag, CEO of Signum Technologies.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. My name is Sean Freitag. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Signum Technologies. Signum is a computer vision company building advanced tools to tackle critical societal challenges, starting with healthcare and national health security. Signum was founded through the federally backed startup incubator FedTech, which partners mission-driven entrepreneurs with the U.S. national labs to help commercialize deep tech dual-use technologies created in our national laboratories. Signum was matched with MITRE Labs, who was developing a contactless vital sign sensing technology, initially in collaboration with the Mayo Clinic and then fielded during COVID by the TSA for frontline infection surveillance. That technology has now been advanced into a real-time health screening platform, a breakthrough in passive, real-time health monitoring designed to meet both federal security and commercial healthcare needs. The pandemic highlighted critical deficiencies in the US's health level of preparedness, and our frontline workers found that the analog tools that they were using to conduct health screening were inaccurate, inefficient, and exposed them to additional harm. And this is where a critical capability gap still exists. The US lacks scalable, contactless, real-time health screening and monitoring infrastructure that can be deployed across healthcare settings, transportation hubs, and public triage zones. I would like to introduce you to remote optical sensing of individuals in the environment, or as we like to call her, Rosie. Rosie uses computer vision, a combination of RGB and radiometric sensors, to passively track subtle digital biometric signals, producing clinically level accurate readings of heart rate, respiratory rate, core body temperature, and SpO2 or blood oxygen level will be released soon. All of this can occur in under 15 seconds, all without any physical contact to the individual. Rosie's accuracy exceeds the clinical standards with plus or minus 0.2 degrees Fahrenheit of temperature accuracy and FDA-grade heart rate and respiratory metrics. This makes her deployable across hospital rooms, border checkpoints, VA clinics, airports, and even telehealth platforms, bringing structured digital biometric capture to the point of need. Now, Rosie is already active in VA hospitals where it supports early health monitoring through passive contactless vital capture. We see strong federal deployment opportunities within public health screening, deploying it at TSA checkpoints, maritime ports of entry, and land border crossings to rapidly identify potential infectious threats and protect frontline workers. It enables rapid deployment during biological events and mass casualty incidents, providing early insight into the physiological changes that are occurring at scale. And it increases frontline readiness, enhancing operational safety for first responders, border agents, and medical personnel through automated, no-contact health assessments. These use cases directly align with BARDA's mission to accelerate early detection, safeguard our frontline workers, and to strengthen the health resiliency at our critical infrastructure nodes. Rosie is also transforming how healthcare is delivered, especially in under-resourced and remote environments. Through remote patient monitoring, Rosie enables scalable, contactless monitoring for at-risk or homebound patients, ensuring continuity of care outside of hospital walls. It further democratizes access to underserved communities as it operates with common webcams and sensors, reducing cost barriers and making high-quality monitoring possible in rural clinics, tribal health centers, and community care centers, all while advancing telehealth, solving the missing vitals problem in digital visits by integrating structured, FDA-grade biometric data directly into a telehealth workflow. And unlike wearables or handheld devices, Rosie is fully non-contact and passive, is more accurate than most FDA-approved tools on the market, and it's faster, delivering results in under just 15 seconds. It's deployable anywhere via off-the-shelf webcams or thermal sensors. And although there are several commercial competitors that are in the market, our closest technical competitor is the Chinese-backed government-backed company whose systems are widely deployed already, including in the Beijing airport, as is it already being used to screen travelers for fever and abnormal respiration as part of their national public health surveillance strategy. This is extremely important for BARDA and the US government. When it comes to public health security, critical infrastructure, and CBRN preparedness, artificial intelligence and computer vision are the future, and the US must have a domestic, trustworthy solution. Rosie is built in the United States, operated in the United States, and aligns with the US data and privacy regulatory standards. Rosie represents a trusted domestic solution compliant with US privacy standards and deployable across government, clinical, and emergency environments in the United States. The digital health monitoring market is valued at roughly $9 billion and is growing at 30% CAGR, driven largely by telehealth and AI-enabled diagnostic services. We serve federal health and security agencies, health systems and telehealth providers, as well as transportation hubs and critical infrastructure. For health security deployments, Rosie is delivered as a hardware-software bundle paired with a SaaS analytics platform for real-time monitoring and population health insights. In the private sector, reimbursement is enabled via existing CPT codes for remote patient monitoring, allowing doctors to increase patient interaction, all without any additional costs, leading to better overall health outcomes for the patient. We are extremely excited about the opportunities that are in front of us. Our main key efforts currently are building what we are dubbing our minimal viable product, or MVP, with RPM Tech, an engineering firm that we've already hired, for expected rollout in Q4 of 25. We're partnering with universities and federal programs to expand early use cases like the VA's Atlas program and VetConnect. We're raising our seed round of funding to complete FDA clearance and scale manufacturing. As I mentioned, we're pursuing FDA clearance through our 510(k), and we're actively exploring pilots with agencies involved in border security, emergency response, and health screening. We see clear pathway to integrating Rosie as a core digital health tool in BARDA's medical countermeasure toolkit with applicability in CBRN response and other public health emergencies. At Signum, I'm joined with a world-class mission-driven team of entrepreneurs, technologists, and clinicians. Before founding Signum, I served for about 14 years as a US Navy SEAL with over 9 combat deployments. across healthcare and technology investments within our private credit. I left Blackstone in 2023 to lead Signum as our full-time CEO because I believe Rosie can save lives and strengthen national preparedness infrastructure. At Signum, we are deeply aligned with BARDA's mission to enhance our national capability to detect, prevent, and respond to health threats before they escalate. Rosie isn't just a health tool, she's a national preparedness asset. We're seeking strategic partnerships to integrate Rosie into the U.S. digital health security strategy and modernize frontline health readiness together. Thank you very much. I look forward to answering any questions in the networking event, or please feel free to reach out directly to the email on the slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. That wraps up our presentations for today. And also a special thank you to each of the companies who presented today and participated in the accelerator. I also want to thank our partner, BARDA. It was wonderful partnering with you on this initiative, and we look forward to launching the next one. And thank you to our audience, to those who could join us both in person and those tuning in virtually. We're excited to announce that we will be opening applications for our next accelerator on October 15th. If you'd like to get in touch with any of the companies that you heard from today, please email paratus@matter.health. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you soon.